Welcome to Debit and Credit Online Classroom. In today's cost accountancy class, we can learn about the methods and techniques of costing. We know that the work of each industry will differ from each other. So it is essential to devise a costing system which is suitable to the requirement of the business and the industry. And therefore, there is no one system that will suit all the businesses. There are different methods of costing for different industries. This is because the nature of work carried out by different industries vary. Industries can be grouped into two basic types: industries doing job work and industries engaged in mass production of a single product or identical product. In case of job industries, each job needs special treatment and production is strictly according to customer specification. There is no standard product and costs have to be ascertained for each job separately. Examples of such industries are printing press, construction company, shipbuilding, etc. In case of mass production industries, firms manufacture identical products. Example, chemical plants, paper, textiles, etc. The manufacturing operations are grouped into distinct processes and are accumulated for each process separately. Therefore, it becomes necessary to use different methods of costing as the very nature of production process and methods of production differ in different industries. And we can divide the methods of costing into mainly three subdivisions, that is job costing, process costing and uniform costing. In this method of costing, the costs incurred for a specific job are collected and accumulated, and the costs incurred only for that job is taken into consideration. This is done because the nature of the work of each job will differ from each one, and it will be according to the specification of a customer. For example, in printing press, some may come for printing the textbook, some may come for printing notices, some may come for printing invitations, like that. So each job is unique. So the cost for each job will be taken. Only the cost incurred for that will be taken. That is the job costing. And the job costing itself can be divided into two, that is contract costing and batch costing. In contract costing, we know that the contracts taken for doing a specific job, for example, construction of a building, it's a contract job. So the expenses incurred for that contract will be taken into consideration. So only one job is there for a contract, and the second job will be another contract, like that. But in the case of batch costing, similar products are produced in batches. So the cost for each batch of product will be taken and it will be divided among the number of units. For example, the production of medicine, then biscuit manufacture, garment manufacture, spare parts and components manufacture, etc. Process costing. It's a method where costs are collected and accumulated according to departments or processes, and cost of each department or processes divided by the quantity of production to arrive at cost per unit. The cost is calculated process-wise or department-wise. This method is used in mass production of industries having continuous production of uniform standard product. For example, manufacture of paper, soap, textiles, chemicals, sugar, food products, etc. The process costing is again divided into unit costing, operating costing, operation costing, and multiple costing. In operation costing, the this is a refinement and more detailed application of process costing. This involves costing by every operation instead of a process. This is used where the manufacturing process consists of a number of distinct operations. Unit costing is applied where production is uniform and consists of only a single product or two or three types of similar products with variations only in size, shape, quality, etc. It's a simple method of costing in which total cost is divided by the number of units produced to determine the cost per unit. This method is applied in industries like mines, quarries, oil drilling, etc. Operating costing. This method is applicable to undertakings that render services. This is used to determine the cost of rendering services by airways, railways, road transport, hospital, powerhouse, etc. For example, transport companies interested in knowing the cost of carrying 1 ton of goods per kilometer or cost of carrying 1 passenger per kilometer. Here, the cost unit is to be determined and it varies from undertaking to undertaking. It is similar to unit costing, and the only difference being that in place of goods, the cost of services is determined. Using this operating cost only, the charges for bus and all is determined. Next is the multiple costing. This involves the application of more than one method of costing in respect of the same product. For example, process costing may be applied up to certain stage and then job costing may be used. So we are using a multiple methods of costing, that is the multiple or composite costing. Sometimes the firms of an industry agree to use the same method of costing. And this is called the uniform costing. It will help them to compare the cost of production and many other factors. Now let us see what are the techniques or the types of costing. This is dependent upon the cost information presented to the management for cost control and decision making. The first technique is the absorption costing. In this, all the costs will be charged to the products, irrespective whether they are variable or fixed. Marginal costing. In marginal costing, they will charge only the variable cost to the products. Direct costing. In this, only the direct cost, that is direct cost whether it is variable or fixed, only the direct costs are taken into consideration. The indirect costs are excluded and written off against the profit of the period in which they arise. Differential costing is a technique of comparing cost of two alternatives for the purpose of deciding which alternative is best. Uniform costing. It is a use of same costing principles practices and methods by several undertakings for a common control or comparison of cost. Historical costing. It is the ascertainment of costs after they have been incurred. In standard costing, the budgets are set or the standard costs are set, and after incurring the cost, they will compare the actual cost with the standard cost, analyze for the variances, and they will take remedial action if necessary. I believe that you have understood about the methods and techniques of costing, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. Thank you for the support you are extending to me. Thank you.